Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another video about ReconQuest. Today we're going to talk about melee weapons, missile weapons, and if we find the time for it, also shields and armor. You have axes as a separate category of weapons, concussion weapons, spears, swords and daggers, and unarmed weapons. But before anything else, let's talk about dwarf weapons. Because dwarves are master smiths, and melee weapons made by dwarfs cost a gold piece extra, but deal 1 more damage than weapons made by others. And weapons marked with 2H are two-handed weapons. And, as you can tell, there are much to choose from, and they are all more or less in the time period between the Bronze Age and the Viking Age. But there are some anachronisms, and I'm going to first of all talk about them. The mace. It existed before, but there is also an image of a flanged mace here, which of course is an anachronism. And then you have the warhammer, which is a late medieval weapon, and in a sense high-tech compared to the others here. But it is in this game, as explained in the information about each weapon, mainly used by dwarves, because they are kind of technologically advanced compared to the others. Weapons are listed here with the damage, their reach, their weight, and their cost. And reach is very important in this game, both for good and for bad, in the sense that it helps you attack first, but in confined space it's a hindrance. But we're going to talk about that in another video. Axes. All axes are good against those who wear medium armor and those who use a shield. When it comes to concussion weapons, some of them are good against those who wear medium or heavy armor. Spears deal extra damage to large and even more to giant opponents. Swords are not very good against opponents wearing medium or heavy armor, except sickle-shaped sword and sword scythe. If you are unarmed and the opponent is wearing armor, medium or heavy, it's not very good. You also have some special adjustments for flail, heavy javelin and war flail against opponents using a shield. And if you use a trident against an opponent wearing any type of armor, it's not very good. A flail is one of those weapons you will be more likely to fumble with. This illustration, made by my son, hand-drawn by my son, it shows the different types of weapons, and here you have the anachronistic flanged mace and the anachronistic warhammer. Here you have the sickle-shaped sword in 2 versions, the falcata and the kopish. As you can tell, the kopish is slightly more curved, and the falcata has also an edge there. Missile weapons, bows, crossbows, darts, and slings, as well as thrown concussion weapons. Crossbows have better accuracy, so you gain a little bonus to hit. But hunting crossbows are not that good against heavy armor, for the same reason as for the hunting bow. And then you have darts here. Slings, and slings are not very easy to hit with at all, and not very good against medium or heavy armor. But their range is pretty good, especially for the staff sling. I may add that in the expert rules, the staff sling is added in new dimension, because historically it was used during sieges to hurl incendiaries over the wall. Thrown axes and thrown concussion weapons, including the fire bottle. In other words, a Molotov cocktail. And the Molotov cocktail, the fire bottle, can only be made by dwarves and sorcerers. And of course the thrown spears. And I have included the spear sling here because it was used. It dramatically increased the range and damage for light javelins. That would be very long, feathered or fletched light spears. Then you have a little table showing arrow bullets and bolts, and of course how easy it is to reuse them. Elf bows, that is bows made by elves, cost more but have an increased base range. And now let us move on to shields. Personally, I think that most role-playing games don't give shields enough credit, and I think I do here. First of all, elf shields shape differently, and they have some benefits. And of course dwarf shields too have some benefits. Here you have the 3 shield categories, and my son drew some images of shields too. And as you can see, you can attach some darts in the hollow of the shield, and you can carry other weapons in the shield hand as well. And one unique feature here, shield block. That is, if you use your entire round to actually protect yourself with the shield against missiles from one direction, it will double your defensive missile value for the shield. Let's quickly move on to armor. Again, I've tried to make them historically accurate. You have light armor, which of course is better for movement. And you have medium armor, which requires you to be a little bit strong to use them. And you cannot be as agile in them as with light armors. And of course you have heavy armor. In addition to that, helmets, because helmets, if you are poor and you want a piece of armor, the first thing you do, other than make yourself a shield, is to put on a helmet. And helmets are given justice, I think, in this system. My son also drew me these images of different types of armor. And as you can tell, this is a game based on the Bronze Age and the Iron Age, classical antiquity, and I guess also early Viking Age. There are rules for swimming in armor. Dwarf armors are better than other armors. And a little note on gambeson and their use. And a little note on elf armors and how they are different from other armors. I've also added this, enabling the game master to quickly randomly pick a medium or a heavy armor, because he might need that when he finds some random treasures. The purpose of armor is of course to protect you from enemy attacks. And here you see how the different types of armor add to your defensive value. And of course you can wear a helmet and armor at the same time. Likewise, shields give you a defensive value, and more to your missile defense than to your melee defense. That's all about weapons and armors and shields and helmets. Thank you for watching.